The silent desperation. The galaxy was in chaos. It started with a whisper, one planet fell silent, then another. Communication stopped. No warning, no message. Ships sent to investigate never returned. The cause was unknown. But whatever it was spreading fast. From the outer systems to the core worlds, fear grew like a storm. The Galactic Union, made up of dozens of advanced civilizations, held an emergency meeting. Leaders from every known species filled the council hall. They spoke in worried tones, their voices full of panic. Some begged for help. Others blamed each other. But no one had a solution. There was only one option left, the emergency beacon. It was the galaxy's final call for help, something never used before. A signal so strong, it could cross entire galaxies. A cry that would reach every intelligent species capable of spaceflight. The council voted. The beacon was activated. It carried one simple message: we need help. We cannot stop what's coming. If you hear this, answer. The message echoed through space. Across solar systems, past dying stars and empty stations. But most of the galaxy had nothing to give. Fleets were broken. Planets were in lockdown. Everyone was too afraid, except Earth. On Earth's orbital command station, a single officer stared at the incoming distress signal. It wasn't meant for them. Earth had been ignored for years by the Galactic Union. Humans were seen as unpredictable, emotional, and dangerous. A species from a death world. They were not trusted. They were not invited, but Earth listened anyway. Captain Roy stood at the center of Earth Fleet Command. His hands were behind his back, eyes fixed on the screen. The signal played again. We need help. He didn't hesitate. Send the call to High Command, he ordered. Wake up the fleets. Sir, the officer said, surprised. You want to respond? Yes, Roy said. No one else has. But they never accepted us. They don't have to, Roy said quietly. They asked for help. That's enough. The next few hours moved quickly. Messages were sent to every space station. Old warships were powered on. Troops were recalled from rest zones. Engineers worked without sleep, fueling ships that had not flown in years. Earth's orbit lit up as massive carriers took position. One by one, battleships lined the black sky. They didn't carry peace offerings. They carried weapons forged on a death world. Railguns. Plasma warheads. Armor that could hold against a sun's heat. The human fleet was not large, but it was powerful. It had fought wars Earth never spoke of. As the last ship joined formation, a quiet buzz filled the room. All ships ready, sir, the officer confirmed. Captain Roy turned to the screen. The signal was still playing. We need help, he gave. One final command: set course to the origin of that signal. And tell the galaxy, Earth is coming. Far away, in the same council hall, the leaders sat in silence. They had heard nothing back. Days had passed. Their beacon still echoed. No response. No help. Many had already given up. Suddenly, one of the council's monitors blinked to life. A new signal. Unknown code. Strong. Direct. They played the message: this is the United Fleet of Earth. We received your distress call. Reinforcements are en route. Do not lose hope. The room went silent. For the first time in weeks, the galaxy heard something they didn't expect: hope. But what no one knew yet was that the help coming wasn't just support. It was human. And the enemy that consumed their worlds was about to meet something worse. The arrival of fire and steel. The dark space above the ruined planet Nareen was quiet. Once, it was home to 3 billion beings. A place full of light, music, and trade. Now it was nothing more than ash. The sky above the planet swirled with strange shadows, and massive black clouds drifted like living things. Ships of unknown design hovered silently, absorbing energy, tearing apart satellites, and draining power from everything nearby. These things had no name. No language. No diplomacy. They moved like a virus, swallowing entire systems in hours. Their weapons didn't fire, systems just stopped. Their presence turned light into darkness. Nareen was just the latest dot on the edge of the system. A ripple appeared. A wormhole opened, and from it, thunder came. The human fleet exited hyperspace like a storm unleashed. First came the vanguard. Earth's largest warship. Shaped like a spear, it bristled with gun ports, its hull covered in reflective plating. Then came the Hammerfall, a carrier loaded with fighters. Smaller frigates and cruisers followed in tight formation. It wasn't just power, it was precision. Every ship moved like part of a single living thing. Inside the command deck of the Vanguard, Captain Roy stood silent. He watched as the black ships hovered above Narine's remains. "Visuals up," he said. The screens flickered, and the alien vessels came into focus. They were like moving shadows, shapeless, changing forms, and completely silent. Enemy ships detected. Power levels unknown. No life signs, the officer said. Roy frowned. They don't want to talk. So we'll speak in a language they understand. The order was given: launch fighters. Begin full spectrum scans. Prepare energy disruptors. Don't fire unless they attack. The first wave of human fighters shot out of the Hammerfall. Fast, sleek, and painted in black and steel gray, they moved in a tight swarm around the fleet. Drones followed, scanning the unknown enemies. One of the alien ships pulsed with light. "Captain," the tech officer warned, "energy spike. They are reacting." "Raise shields," Roy said. Suddenly, the first attack came. It wasn't a beam or missile, just a wave. A ripple that passed through space. Lights flickered on the human ships. Some systems failed for a second, but Earth tech had been hardened through centuries of war. Human systems reset quickly. No damage, then the counter-strike began. Fire. The Vanguard's railguns roared. Slugs moving at hyperspeed tore through space and slammed into the nearest enemy ship. To the aliens, it was likely their first taste of kinetic force from a Deathworld species. The alien vessel shuddered. It tried to change shape. Too late. The second and third rounds hit. The ship broke apart into liquid-like debris, vanishing. In moments, more shadow ships moved in. The human fleet rotated, shifting formation like a dance of fire and steel. Every cruiser opened fire. Beams, slugs, missiles, all launched with perfect timing. The sky above Narine lit up like a new sun. Inside the council hall, the alien leaders stared at the live feed in disbelief. "They are winning." One whispered. "They are not even using half their weapons yet," said another, eyes wide. "They are human," the speaker said softly. "They come from a death world. They don't just survive, they dominate." The message from the Earth fleet echoed again in the chamber: "Do not lose hope." For the first time in generations, the galaxy watched as an enemy no one could stop was pushed back on the Vanguard. Captain Roy gave one more command: begin landing protocols. "We are taking Narine back." As the human fleet pushed forward, one thing became clear: the galaxy had cried for help, and Earth had answered with fury. On the ground, where Deathworlders walked, the sky above Narine was still burning when the first dropships landed. They came down like falling thunder, punching through the ash clouds and settling on scorched Earth. The black steel hulls hissed as they cooled. Ramps dropped. Boots hit the ground. The Deathworlders had arrived. The human soldiers stepped forward with calm, focused movements. Each wore full body armor sealed tight against toxins and radiation. Their visors glowed with data, scanning everything. Behind them rolled ground tanks, drones, and mobile artillery platforms. These were not diplomats. These were not peacekeepers. They were from Earth, and Earth had no mercy for those who brought death to others. Corporal Liam moved through the ruined city with his squad. His boots crunched over broken glass and melted stone. Buildings stood like skeletons, hollow and cracked. The air was thick with dust. It was hard to believe this place once held millions. Movement up ahead, came a voice in his ear. He raised a hand. The squad stopped. Drones zipped forward, scanning. A strange shape pulsed in the shadows. It floated a few feet above the ground, formless but alive, one of the alien drones. It pulsed with strange colors and gave off a signal too deep for normal ears to hear. Liam spoke softly. "Open fire." 3 beams cut through the air. The alien drone screeched, a sound like metal twisting underwater, then exploded. Silence returned. The further the humans moved, the more they found. Alien machines were digging into the planet's crust, drawing energy from deep underground. Strange black growths covered buildings and streets. They pulsed slowly, like breathing organs. Whatever these things were, they weren't just killing worlds, they were feeding on them. Captain Roy watched the ground feed from orbit. He clenched his fists. "They are turning planets into fuel. Into Hives, he muttered. Orders, sir, his officer asked. Tell all ground units, destroy every hive structure. Burn it to the core. In a nearby sector, another squad pushed forward under heavy cover. Sergeant Myra, sharp-eyed and quick-thinking, noticed something in a broken plaza, a cluster of eggs. Glossy, dark, and pulsing, she didn't wait, flamers up front. Her team moved with speed. Flames roared to life, sweeping over the alien nest. The eggs burst one by one, releasing toxic gas and shrieks. But the humans stood firm. Their suits held. Their training never broke, they kept moving. Somewhere deep beneath the city, Liam's squad found survivors. A group of aliens, small, thin beings with large eyes, hid in an old shelter. Their translator device flickered, but the message was clear. We thought no one would come, one whispered. Liam knelt beside them and smiled behind his visor. You called. We answered. He handed them food and a med-kit. As others helped the survivors up, more soldiers cleared the tunnel. The humans were not just here to fight. They were here to save. The battle for Nareen lasted 2 more days. By the end of it, the alien shadow fleet was gone, chased out by human guns and stubbornness. The ground was scorched, but it was no longer pulsing with death. The alien machines had been destroyed. The black growths burned. The humans had done the impossible. They had taken back a dead world. On the Vanguard, Captain Roy stood in silence as the survivors from Nareen were brought aboard. Their eyes were wide with disbelief. They looked at the humans with awe. One of the rescued children walked up to Roy, holding out a small toy. It was cracked and dirty but still intact. The captain took it gently. The child said one word through the translator, thank you. Across the galaxy, the message spread. Earth fought back. And Earth won. Planets that had gone silent began to respond. Other species, once afraid, started to gather courage again. And at the heart of it all was the human fleet, but this was only the beginning. The shadow was still spreading, and humanity was not done fighting. The enemy's true form Nareen was safe. For now, the survivors were being cared for. Human engineers were restoring key systems, and medics were treating the wounded. But something still felt wrong. Too easy. Too quiet. Captain Roy stood on the Vanguard's bridge, staring at the tactical screen. The enemy had fled too fast. It wasn't retreat. It was something else, sir, the science officer called out. We picked up strange readings below the surface. Roy turned. What kind of readings? Energy spikes. Deep underground. Matching the enemy's signature. He didn't hesitate. Send a drill team. Take backup. I want to know what's hiding down there. In a reinforced dropship, a team of human engineers and armored soldiers descended into a mining shaft beneath the ruins of Nareen. Lights flickered as they reached the lower levels, far below where civilians had ever gone. It was silent too. Silent, then they saw it. A massive chamber, carved out like a nest. At its center, something pulsed. A tower of black crystal, alive and glowing. Tubes ran into the rock, pumping a dark, viscous liquid. Around it, strange cocoons lined the walls, slowly moving. Inside them, forms were growing. Send the feed. To the Vanguard, the team leader whispered. When the image reached the bridge, Captain Roy's eyes narrowed. They are not just chips. They are spreading. Building something inside the planets. What is it? Asked the officer beside him. Roy leaned closer. A queen. Or a mind. Whatever it is, it's the source. Suddenly, the feed cut out. The drill team's signal vanished. Then came the sound, high-pitched, static-filled. Wrong. Above Nareen, the sky shimmered. Out of hyperspace, new enemy vessels emerged, bigger than before. Shaped like long knives, black and glowing with red heat. And this time, they didn't wait. They attacked first. All hands to battle stations. Roy barked. They want the planet back. Let's show them they can't have it. The human fleet scrambled, fighters launched. Defense turrets powered on. Railguns rotated and locked targets. The sky filled with fire once more. The alien ships moved differently this time, faster, more aggressive. They seemed angry. As if something had awoken, the Vanguard shook under a direct hit. Shields at 60%, someone shouted, but Earth's fleet was built for war. Every time a human ship took a hit, it gave back twice as hard. Missiles tore through enemy hulls. Fighters danced between blasts. The air was fire and metal. Meanwhile, underground, one soldier from the drill team had survived. Her name was Lena. She crawled out of the ruined tunnel, bruised but alive. She held a data core in her hand, recorded footage of the crystal mind. Her comms buzzed. "This is Vanguard. Is anyone alive down there?" She coughed. "This is Lena. I've got data. I'm coming up." She reached the surface as the battle raged above. A shuttle swooped down, picked her up, and soared back to orbit. The data was rushed to Roy. On the bridge, the core played. Everyone watched as the black crystal pulsed and shifted. A voice came through, low and deep, like thunder underwater. "You are not welcome. This galaxy belongs to us. You will break. You will serve." Roy stared at the screen. His face was stone. "No," he said. "You're wrong." He looked to his crew. "Tell the fleet. These things think we'll kneel. But we are from Earth. We don't break. And we don't serve." He gave the final command: "Target the main hive. Full power. Burn it down." From orbit, the Vanguard charged its rail cannon. Energy built up along its spine. A red glow filled the void, and then it fired. The shot pierced the crust of Nareen, traveled straight through the tunnel, and hit the black crystal mind. There was no scream. No cry, just silence. Then, an explosion so massive it shook the fleet. Fire burst from the planet's surface. The enemy ships in orbit froze and began to fall. Without their mind, they were blind. The battle was over. Nareen had been saved again, but the message was clear now. These things were not just invaders, they were builders, they were creators of hives, and they had more. The galaxy had cried for help, Earth had answered, but now Earth was going on the hunt. Earth's vow: no more lost worlds. The flames on Nareen had barely faded when the next orders came. Every ship in the human fleet received the command at once: we move. We strike. No more worlds will fall. Captain. Roy stood at the center of the Vanguard's war room. Around him, holograms of nearby star systems blinked red. Each one had gone dark within the last cycle. They were enemy targets. Potential hives. "This is no longer defense," Roy said. "It's extermination." No one disagreed. Across the galaxy, a ripple spread. For decades, Earth had been seen as distant, dangerous, a death world best left alone. Now, they were the galaxy's only hope, and they were not waiting for permission. Earth's fleet split into 3 waves. The first wave was fast strike, smaller ships designed to jump in, destroy hives, and jump out. The second wave followed behind, bringing heavy guns and medical aid. The third wave rebuilt. It wasn't just war. It was justice. The first target, Thalos I. An old mining colony, now silent for 6 months. No responses. No survivors. The aliens had taken it early, but hadn't expected Earth. The human strike ships jumped in. No warning. No broadcast, just fire. The sky above Thalos 2 turned into a storm of lasers and sonic booms. Railguns shredded the enemy before they could react. Human marines landed within hours and scorched the black hive structures to the ground. Thalos 2 was cleared in 1 day. The galaxy watched the feed with wide eyes. Earth wasn't reclaiming planets, they were erasing the threat. Next came Alari Prime, a lush jungle world now poisoned by black vines and alien mist. The human fleet didn't hesitate. This time, they brought something new: Sunlance-class orbital beams. Long-range fire from orbit, cutting down alien growths like a scythe through weeds. The humans didn't wait to be thanked, they simply moved on. Every system they visited lit up with a new message: cleared. Human forces engaged. Enemy destroyed. Survivors safe. For every world the aliens had taken, Earth reclaimed 2 more. Galactic channels once filled with cries for help now rang with a new word: hope. Back on the Vanguard, Roy stood alone, looking out the observation window. He didn't smile. He didn't celebrate. He remembered the ruined cities. The children hiding in wreckage. The crystal hive minds buried in peaceful soil. These things want to spread, he said quietly. We'll burn every seed they plant. He turned to his officer: send out a message. Let everyone hear it. Human, alien, it doesn't matter. She nodded. What's the message? Roy answered without hesitation: if your world is under threat, call us. We are the fleet of Earth. And we are not afraid. The message spread across systems faster than light. Planets once cut off reached out again. Refugees gathered. Councils met in secret. And slowly, one by one, the species of the galaxy turned toward Earth, not with fear, but with trust and awe. But deep in the outer systems, far beyond known charts, something darker moved. The enemy had noticed the losses, and now it was preparing something worse, something bigger. Earth's fleet had awakened a sleeping beast, and the next battle would not be in a ruined colony or on a poisoned planet. It would be in the void itself. The final message from Earth. The battlefield around Cyrex still smoldered. Wreckage drifted in orbit, both human and alien. Below, the colony burned in patches, but it had survived. The people had survived. Rescue teams were already on the ground, pulling civilians from rubble, treating wounds, and restoring systems. But in the command chamber of the Vanguard, Captain Roy stood in silence. He had just watched 3 of Earth's ships sacrifice themselves to push back one enemy. And even after that, the Hive King had escaped. They had saved Cyrex, but they had not won, not yet. Status report, Roy said, voice low. The officer scanned the console. 78% of the fleet is still operational. Ground forces report control of all sectors. No further enemy contacts. And the Hive King? Gone. No known trajectory. We lost track of it once it jumped. Roy's eyes narrowed. They'll come back. Bigger. Smarter. He turned to face his crew. They think we'll run. They think we're like the others. He paused, then said louder, for the whole bridge to hear, they still don't understand what it means to be human. Back on Earth, the Global Council called a full assembly. Representatives from every region sat in silence as the live feed from Vanguard played. The galaxy watched too. Dozens of alien species now tuned into Earth's transmissions. Roy appeared on the screen. This is not just our war anymore, he said. They are not stopping. Not negotiating. They are consuming everything. Planet by planet. And if we wait, they will find the next home, the next family, the next child. He took a breath, but Earth does not wait. Earth does not kneel. He leaned forward. We are building a new fleet. Not to defend one world, but all of them. Construction began immediately. Dockyards across Earth and its colonies lit up like suns. New warships, faster, smarter, heavier. Modular carriers. Shielded gun platforms. AI-enhanced tactical drones. The galaxy had called Earth dangerous. Now they were right. Earth became a forge, and out of it came fire. Allies once afraid to speak began to reach out. One by one, they joined the cause. Small scout fleets from distant systems. Scientists offering alien tech to improve human systems. Even warriors from forgotten planets volunteered to serve under Earth's command, and at the center of it all was the flag of Earth, simple, but feared and respected. Captain Roy returned to Cyrex one final time before the next campaign. The colony had rebuilt quickly, with human support. Children played in safe zones again. Food supplies arrived daily. At the edge of the city, a memorial had been placed. 3 black pillars, one for each human ship lost in the defense. A plaque. Red, they stood when the stars burned. So others could live. Roy placed his hand on the metal and closed his eyes, then turned away. Back aboard the Vanguard, he gave the final order, transmit the signal. A message began broadcasting across the stars, translated into every known language. To any world under threat, we are the fleet of Earth. We heard your call when no one else came. We bled so others could breathe. We burned so others could rebuild. We are not saviors. We are not angels. We are what rises when death comes, and we do not stop. In the silence of space, the stars watched. The galaxy had cried for help, and now Earth had answered, fully, not with promises, not with pity, but with warships, warriors, and an unbreakable will.